Hello, it's the webinar on keyword research. My name is Doug Cunnington. I founded Niche Site Project. It's a blog and YouTube channel. I talk about Amazon affiliate marketing and project management. I see we have a few people on. Let me know in the chat if you could hear me. A lot of times people can hear me, so that's always good. I see we have Lance and Brian and Paul. Give me a shout. Let me know if it's the first time you're on. I know I recognize some names already, and hopefully we'll get a lot out of it. Now, I think a lot of people probably, hopefully, saw the Keyword Golden Ratio Masterclass that Alex Cooper and I put out on YouTube over this week. And that's like just a piece of the puzzle, right? Keyword Golden Ratio is just a piece of a larger keyword research set of skills that you should probably have. And actually, when you go one level up, keyword research is just one portion of the skills that you should have when you're doing internet marketing. So keep that in mind. Like each level we're going up, and obviously if you could, if we could pick like one topic like the keyword golden ratio and do a whole class on it where there's like an hour and a half of material on it, you can see the depth of like what you can get into. And I see here we have El Mari. What's up from South Africa? So good to have you on. I believe it should be I believe it should be pretty okay. So you guys are telling me the live stream is off. Offline. Okay, let me see. Can you see or hear me? Because chat's enabled. Things seem good. I see a handful of people on. No, you just see a static picture of me. Very strange. Let me mess around with some stuff. Okay, so it sounds like things are better now. You can see me now. Okay, I'm going to assume that it's okay. Let me know where it's at, folks, because it's hard for me to tell really anything. It's hard to tell if anything is working on Webinar Jam because it looks like it is on my end. What I was going to say is these are usually like smaller groups than the YouTube setting. They're usually better questions. A lot of times on YouTube, people ask questions when they can really just go look stuff up. So this is usually more advanced and a little more enjoyable for everyone. It's one of the reasons why I do these instead of just another live stream on YouTube, because it's kind of a mess. People just show up at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, and then they kind of wreck the whole thing. It's just the nature of the medium. But in this case, we can, focus a little more. You can get yourself a notepad. Even a small one will do. You can turn off notifications on your phone like I'm about to do. So when the telemarketers call, my phone doesn't ring. So try and remember that stuff. Anyway, I know a couple people probably just joined up. Again, keyword research webinar. So I'm going to go over like a higher level than the keyword golden ratio. I will talk about the keyword golden ratio a little bit, but it'll mainly be focused on like higher level stuff just in general. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to start sharing my screen, get into the presentation right away. I was trying to do a couple little updates here, but you'll see. I'll tell you when we get to the update. It's not a big deal. All right. And the way this is going to work, I'll do the presentation, and in general, I'll try and watch the chat, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to watch the chat while I'm speaking, and I just fall over my words. It's really hard to read and talk at the same time. Just tough to do. And let's see here. I'm having some small technical difficulties here with Webinar Jam. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, thanks everyone for your patience with the technical difficulties. It seems like no matter what I do, There's always something. All right. And I see there's actually an issue because I can't even see the screen. Can you guys see my slides or no? Let's try again. Sound check. You can hear me. All right. Good news is I'll still be able to present even if you can't see it. So hopefully this is going to go all right. Okay. I think you could hear me. There's a bit of a delay, so I'm going to assume that you can hear me and stuff. By the way, if you have any technical difficulties, there's a refresh button or something like that on your screen. You should be able to hit that. Do let me know in the chat, like if the video goes away or if the audio goes away, let us know in the chat. A lot of times other people can let you know. And then sometimes it's just on your end. So hit the refresh, but let people know too. Okay. I'm Doug Cunnington. Like I said, this is what I was trying to update. I was trying to put like updated images from my latest vacation. So this is at Newport Beach. That's Georgie and I. Really nice sort of picture my wife took. So I'm working on some others, and I've been featured on a lot of other blogs and stuff, featured or mentioned. That's just a handful of, I've done a ton of guest posts, and I'm actually I'll ask people now, do you read a lot of blogs currently? Because I'm looking to get back into blogging more, which I enjoy. I've spent so much time on YouTube, but I'm looking to get back into blogging more. And part of that could be guest posting. So just curious if people read a lot of blog posts. And I mean, I'm doing a lot of like video tutorials, but I used to do just blog posts with screenshots. And I feel like it's two different audiences. It's very different. So anyway, most recently, or I guess it's been several months now, was featured on Social Triggers by Derek Halpern. I always put this timeline up because, well, it's a reminder for me as well. But the other part is a lot of people just share the highlight reel. They just say, hey, I did this awesome stuff. And it looks like they just started, and within 6 months, they were like doing some exceptional stuff. While that does happen, it's super rare. And most of the time, people have like a very long path to get to wherever they're at. They don't share any of the mistakes that they made. They don't like make it sound like they're infallible in any way. I've made so many mistakes. And in fact, I think when I look back and see, you know, my first site, it did awesome. And then it got penalized after about 6 months or so. And that's just what people were teaching at the time. I mean, when you look back at Smart Passive Income, Pat Flynn, Spencer Hawes over at Niche Pursuits, when you look at even Neil Patel over at Quick Sprout, like those were the big blogs that I was following back when I got started in 2013. They were doing PBNs, they were doing link wheels, they were buying links from Fiverr. I mean, all this stuff that actually worked really well back then. It was just the common stuff that everyone did. So I was following my mentors who actually are, you know, good guys, and they try to do the right thing. They're trying to run a good business, you know, and they were doing all that stuff, and I was following their lead. Of course, that'll get you penalized real quick, which is this point down here. And then I launched several more sites in like 2014, in spring of 2014. And then by the fall, they were all penalized. And, you know, fast forward to 2015, I got laid off from my job. I'd worked there for about 9 years. And I was like, oh man, I have these side projects, but nothing's really sticking. And then I slowly improved over time and stopped making the mistakes that I was making over here, and things are good. And back, I guess about a year ago, sold a site with a partner of mine for $235,000. So that was good. And yeah, it's been a fun ride. So quick question. And it looks like like I said, we just have a handful of people. So there's Q&A at the end, but since there's such a small number of people, if you ask a question, I should be able to like try and answer it before the very end. So quick question. When did you first hear about niche sites? And if you want to mention where you heard about niche sites or internet marketing, feel free to put it in the chat. So, and Arthur, good to have you on live. Thanks for the support overall. Dennis says you read a lot of blogs, YouTube, etc. You're into it. Okay. And Brian isn't following any blogs, but you mostly YouTube and email subscriptions. Okay. See, now I feel like it's really interesting because I started on podcasts because I was a podcast consumer. This is unrelated to keyword research. It's just us chatting. I started with Smart Passive Income and went from there, found a bunch of other people and a lot of different opportunities in internet marketing from Smart Passive Income. And then basically started reading all the blogs and was a podcast and blogs. That's basically all I was into. I didn't really pay attention to YouTube at all until maybe the last 18 months or so in a real way. And basically, I think it's a completely different set of audience. I mean, we hear that like John is a subscriber to the YouTube channel. Some people are just into blogs. Some people only listen to podcasts and like rarely read because maybe they have time while they're commuting. So it's really interesting, like where people find stuff and then like what they prefer to consume. All of it's great. I mean, the people that I follow really closely, I'll read their blog, I'll listen to their podcast, and I'll watch their YouTube stuff. So, okay. So getting into it, Q&A is at the end. It is helpful if you mark your message as a question, just so I can see it a little bit more easily. And as I mentioned before, it looks like it's going to be a small crew. So that's cool. And by the way, I do want to have more people on here, but I promote these in sort of a small way. So if you have the opportunity to let someone know when one of these sessions is going to happen that may find value from it, maybe like in a Facebook group, or maybe your friends, or you're chatting with some people and wherever you're watching, right? Like if you're a YouTube person, you could tell someone in the comments, hey, there's this webinar, and you could actually share the link that I sent out before, and if people can watch the replay later. So anyway, I appreciate any kind of sharing you can do. Keyword research. All right. And quick follow-up on the question that I asked. So other Doug says you heard about affiliate marketing from an Australian stoner guy on YouTube. And El Mari says YouTube takes a lot of data, which is expensive in South Africa. Yeah, I was going to say Dennis beat me to it. It's lazy ass stoner. And I thought he was a British guy, but maybe he's Australian. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's funny because his YouTube videos still rank really well, but they're like 4 years old. So I'm kind of amazed they still have that much traction because they're just out of date. Okay. So this basically applies to any keyword research that you are doing, whether it's like a business site or like local SEO or whatever. We're going to mainly focus on affiliate sites because that's where my experience is. But I've heard, people use the same kind of ideas and techniques for like any site. Now, some of the metrics may change a little bit, like the search volumes, but the ideas hold up. As to methods, there may be a million and then some, but principles are few. The man who grasps principles can successfully select his own methods. The man who tries methods, ignoring principles, is sure to have trouble. That's an Emerson quote, although I'm told it is not Ralph Waldo, it's some other Emerson. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is if I just gave you a step-by-step process, you may be able to follow it. But if there are any issues, if anything changes in the future, you're out of luck. So it's really important to understand why you're doing it, the principles, and look at it from a more, I guess, I'm not sure what word I'm looking for, but go to the principles. Like, don't try and just learn a step-by-step process. That stuff can be really useful, but if you don't understand why you're doing it or the background of the process, then you're kind of screwed. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I can keep going, but keep that in mind as we go through this. So I'm trying to let you know about the deeper concepts here. We're going to go over 4 things, probably keep it kind of light on number 4 there. We're going to talk about types of keywords, keyword volumes, the target volumes that we're going for, and the keyword golden ratio. And the reason why I'm going to go light on the KGR is because of the masterclass that I put out with Alex this week. So I'll defer to that in general. And in the chat, let me know, like, has everybody watched most of the KGR masterclass out there? So 4 types of keywords, and I'm just going to get into it here. 4 types of keywords in general, right? There may be some other types or subtypes out there, but these 4 are good to keep in mind. So buy now, this is like pre-purchase, like I want to buy something within minutes, right? So that could be, I always look around for like objects like headphones. I'm like, all right, I'm going on a trip and I want to make sure I have some like good headphones. So I may, just search for like headphones, and that's it. I'm like Bluetooth headphones for travel, and then see what comes up. And maybe a bad example, but usually it's just the product name. So Bluetooth headphones. And the thing is with the buy now, usually that's not great to go for. All right. And I go into it a little deeper, but the reason why is like someone wants to buy something fast. They don't want to do research on it. Next is the product type. And I made that bold and a little bit darker. We like these. These are the ones that we want to go for. So these are a little bit earlier in the process for pre-purchase. It's still pre-purchase, of course, but it's like, I'm not sure which set of Bluetooth headphones I want. It's an investment. It's a little pricey. So I want to make sure I get the right thing. I don't want to, be on my trip and on the road traveling and then find out that, I have headphones that I don't like. So this is just a little bit earlier, and it indicates like researching. And I'm going to go over some examples too. Next is informational. This is how to type articles, maybe the best way to do something. And the vast majority of keywords online are informational. I'm not sure the source on that, but I think I probably read about Backlinko or something about it on Backlinko. Next is general information. And this is like, people are just learning about the product or the idea or whatever it is. So if it's like headphones, maybe a lot of the results in Google would be like Wikipedia, like the development and history of headphones, like not really anything to do with making a purchase. And you can imagine the reason why like we're interested in the product is like it's pre-purchase and it's far enough back in like the sales funnel where you can, potentially get a commission. That's the whole goal. As far as the informational, that could, right? There's 2 reasons. One, it provides value to a person who is interested in like potentially a product. And it turns out you can put your affiliate links in an informational article. If someone's like wanting to know how to do something, oftentimes there are products that you can recommend that are related to or can help them do whatever they're trying to figure out faster or better or easier. So keyword volumes. These are purely my, opinion and sort of how I organize the ideas of, what sections of keyword volume I'm looking at. So I call very high like 9,000 or higher. Now, if you have conversations with, an SEO agency, they're working with like big companies, they may not think that 9,000 searches is very many. They may be going for, 50,000 or higher, or they're dealing with like much larger search volumes. I call high between 2,500 and 9,000, and I'm, I'll just go down. So 2,500 to 9,000, medium is 720 to 2,500, low is 250 to 720. And then the ultra low and long tails are less than 250 searches per month. And I spend most of my time in the medium or lower search volume. So medium, low, and ultra low. And for me, it's just in general, it seems like there's more competition for higher search volumes. Usually it's more profitable if more people are searching for it. And in general, because it's more competitive, it takes longer to rank, it takes more links, and it's just a longer process. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go for them. It just means if you're starting out, you should probably like give yourself plenty of time and be patient to rank higher search volume keywords. And it's a blend, right? There's exceptions in every step of the way. The lower search volumes seem to be faster to rank. You need fewer links and there's less competition in general. And again, that's sort of where I focus my time. And really, when you're first starting out, you should focus on the lower competition stuff. And then you can, target higher volume keywords and more competitive things for longer term goals. But times have changed from, when I first got started or even several years before that. I mean, you could go and approach these really high volume keywords and rank. I mean, I did this. I think I was in like that high range, which is a wide range, by the way. But I think I ranked like in one of my early sites, it was like 8,000 searches per month. Was able to rank at number 1 within like 3 months or so. Again, that was gray hat days. I don't do that anymore. Okay. And quick note, I did ask about the keyword golden ratio masterclass. Brian says he's watched about 70% so far. El Mari watched it and Paul watched it and Dennis watched all of it too. So appreciate the support. And I think, there's a lot of detail in there. Hopefully all the tutorial kind of stuff is helpful. Okay, the target volumes. So we're looking at the ranges again. And I hope the animation looks really slick on your side. So I'm spending most of the time on the ultra low and long tails. It just ranks faster. And that is, the keyword golden ratio at work. Not for all those, right? We'll get into the details, but that's where I'm spending a lot of time. And the thing is, that low range, that's fine to go for too, as well as the medium. But as you get to the higher search volumes, I believe it's sort of progressively longer to take to rank those. So I'm gonna get a sip of water here. Is there anything not clear about the ranges or why I recommend going for the lower search volumes? So the keyword golden ratio, it sounds like most of the people are quite aware here. So it's the all-in title divided by the local monthly searches where the LMS is under 250. So you want the ratio to be 0.25 or less. A lot of people do ask about the higher search volumes, and I'll defer back to the previous slide where it takes longer to rank higher search volumes just in general. Another reason why 250 is in there and we're looking at a ratio of 0.25 is the tools are like all the search keyword research tools that provide search volumes are a little bit different. Every tool uses a different kind of algorithm. They may use a different number of months that they average the search volumes. Typically, it used to be 12 months for a lot of tools, and then other tools you could use whatever algorithm you want on your tool. So depending on the algorithm they use, the search volume may be different. So the formula is literally designed to account. It's very aggressive because the inputs are, uncertain. And the thing is, like the search volume is important, but as long as it's close enough, you're all right. So it doesn't really matter what tool you use. I typically recommend like Keyword Keg. It seems to be, one of the cheaper options out there that people enjoy using. Keywords Everywhere is a free tool that you could use. It's a Chrome and I think Firefox extension. It's really, just easy to look through the search results and see search volumes and see recommended searches, related searches. Brian says, what is Google search volume 12 months? Brian, can you rephrase that? So the Google search volume is per month. So I'm going to answer what I think you're asking. The Google search volume is like the estimated number of searches per month for a specific term. I'm not sure what you mean with 12 months on the end there. So, okay. So that's what the keyword golden ratio is. And that said, right, people ask often, hey, can I go for one with 720? Sure. You can actually do whatever you want. I don't really care. But the formula is the formula. And if you deviate from the formula, the results will often be, they can be different. They may turn out great, but when you hear people say, yeah, I went after a KGR term and it had, 1,500 searches per month, you should check to see how old their site was. Do they have a lot of backlinks? Do they have a lot of content? Are they already ranking well for a bunch of stuff? All that matters. So if you, when you hear people say, I did X and it worked, make sure you have like all the background information. And it's not, our fault to not ask those questions. They're just trying to say like, well, they're trying to brag usually, but yeah. So you can deviate from the formula and, here's the deal. If it's like, if you have a 0.3, you may as well go for it, right? Or if the search volume is 260, like it's probably okay. Like if it's in the threshold of, something really close, then it's probably fine. But I wouldn't do that for everything, right? So a few exception cases right on the edge, go for it. It's probably going to be okay. All right. So you do need to get the keyword volumes from a tool like Keyword Keg or whatever you want to use. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. And this is an example that I pulled some screenshots for. The actual number of these may have changed the exact results. But example number 1. So this is how you do the search. So it's all in title, : no space, no quotes. Don't use quotes. It throws off the results. I try and emphasize that, but people still ask because they end up with a lower number. But that is, again, precisely why you don't want to use quotes. So the KGR here is 4 results. So we see 4 results here out of 10 searches, and that's 0.4. So it doesn't meet the criteria. And this other example is best electric shaver for a bald head. So the all-in title is 26 results, but it's 210 searches. So that is 0.12. That fits the criteria and you can go for it. Again, when you're looking at these two, if you only have 4 results and 10 searches, it's 0.4, have a look at the results, see if you think you can compete. And especially if your site's established out of the sandbox, like more than 6 months old, then going for, this 0.4 is probably a good test for you to do, right? So I try and encourage people to test things on their own to, if you hear something about like a technique, try it yourself and see what happens. There's a lot of people online who they talk about stuff in the comments, or they put out information that, they'd never actually tested it. And, I'm happy to learn from anyone. I try and learn from my students. I try and learn from people who have, that are in these sessions like this. But basically, if you don't test it for yourself and see what happens on your specific site, then you don't really know. So yeah. A lot of times people sound super convincing when they're describing something, but they may have not done it themselves, or they could just be incorrect also. So just be careful. People sound very convincing sometimes, even though they could be wrong. So look out for that. All right. So pro tip here, listen to Google. All right. So what I usually do, this is probably the best way for me to find KGR terms. So a lot of people did watch the playlist. There's a SEMrush demo. So a lot of times I'll start at SEMrush. I'll pull a report down for a bunch of keywords that I've filtered down to something manageable. I'll grab one that looks like it could be a good one, like best electric shaver for a bald head, and I'll just search for it in Google. And then I'll check out the auto suggest and the related searches. This is the related searches. It's located at the very bottom of the SERP. And these search volumes here from that tool, Keywords Everywhere. And basically you can get an idea for other keywords that you can check. It doesn't look like there's a great example for these. Maybe can you shave your head with an electric razor, 70 searches per month? That one actually could be reasonable. These others, it seems to be heavily like product oriented, but this is one of the best ways to find new KGR terms. You pick a keyword that should be good to start with, you check it out, and then a lot of times the related searches are going to be very helpful and give you even more ideas that you never even thought of. And the thing is, sometimes, I'll go for the 0 search volume if the competition looks acceptable. Now, this is one of those cases where, I have a site that's out of the sandbox. It's a couple of years old. So I can publish something with 0 search volume. I know some people are searching for it, and then I'll get a little bit of traffic. Now, the cool thing is a lot of times you'll rank for a lot of long tail keywords out of that. Even though it says no one's searching for it, 0 people are searching for it per month, but Google is telling you it's a related search. So, some people are searching for it. The thing is, if you can, just get traffic through long tail keywords, that's awesome. And by the way, a lot of people are worried about going for, 250 searches or less. Again, the thing is, they're just estimates. So even if Google told you the exact number of searches, most likely there are even more people searching for related long tail keywords that are searched for such a small number of times they don't show up on any tools. So for example, it could be just a longer phrase like, can you shave your head with an electric razor after taking a shower? Something like that. And it's a very rare search, like so rare that, people are probably not even searching for it at all and it wouldn't show up here. But like if there are 0 searches for it reported, then because it's related search, that it is worth going for. So hopefully that made sense. Okay. And a couple questions came through. All right. Quick note, 5-Figure Niche Site is my course. Enrollment is currently closed, but you can, make sure you're on my email list, which if you're here, you should be on the email list. And basically, I think in a few, maybe like 5 weeks, in mid-July, a new enrollment period is going to open up. So it's the good old product graphic that I probably need to update at this point, but the course was created with proven principles, techniques, and strategies that work. I didn't mention it too much before, but I'm a project manager. I have a PMP. So I use, the framework that I learned from project management to put the course together in a lot of ways. And I know a lot of people do watch the YouTube videos that are here now. There's too much information on YouTube and blogs. And, if you watch my channel and other channels, and then you read my blog and other blogs, it is overwhelming, and you probably will turn out to be more confused than not. In fact, when I watch other people's stuff or read their blogs, I'm like, oh, I should do that technique that they're showcasing or whatever. But it's just too much. The course removes all of the like extraneous stuff that you don't have to do. A lot of the stuff out there, honestly, is like 1% gain, right? Like if you just go to a blog, there's probably some useful techniques on whatever. And if you spend a lot of time working on that thing, you may not see much of a return, even though you put a lot of effort into it. So I remove those kind of things and just get you to focus on the core stuff that's super important. That is probably the biggest value in the course. Just removing the noise. And then of course you get support from me, and I have one person that helps me with support as well, but you get direct interaction with me. Okay, the Q&A. So some people asked some questions. I'll hop over there, and feel free to ask questions here. All right. So, and Brian clarified his question here. Sorry on the delay. So are the results based on the last month or what range? Okay. So it's definitely not the last month. It depends on the tool, Brian. So every tool uses a different set of criteria to get that number. In the past, right, I think 12 months, like 1 year was the standard, but I think I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that the search volumes on Ahrefs are like a 24 or 36 month long average. So it really flattens it out. The problem with that, if it's too long, is you end up with sort of like not a seasonal, but if like a trending effect. So if something's like really popular, like right now, the search volume may seem lower on Ahrefs, or if it's really low right now, but it used to be a very popular thing like 2 months ago, your average will be misleading. So I believe the standard back in the day was 12 months with the Google Keyword Planner, and I think a lot of tools do use 12 months, but you do need to check with each tool to find out what the average is. I think SEMrush uses a 12-month average, but again, you should be able to check the documentation or email support for whatever tool and then find out what's going on. And typically you can, not always, but you should be able to get like the average per month, right? So if it's seasonal, that's helpful to know. So if it's something, like outdoor gear, it's probably going to be more popular in the summertime. All right, and Lance says, from your short experience, it simply takes longer to rank when the monthly search volumes go up. Seems to be more important than the all-in title results. Yep. I think that holds up pretty well. And everything matters, but the low search volume seemed helpful. Paul says, what if the all-in title divided by LMS is 0 for both? Do we go for it? Yeah, I would go for it. For me, if the LMS is 0, I'll usually, and it was a related search, I'll usually go for it, like regardless. Occasionally I will check the all-in title, but not always. So usually if the search volume is 0 and it was a related search or an auto suggest, I'll go for it anyway. Okay, Arthur says, you have a hard time buying keywords without competition less than 1 using the Keywords Everywhere tool. It doesn't matter if it's under 250 or 10 searches. Do you have any helpful ideas? All right, let me ask you something. Let me try and get back to the screenshot where I have Keywords Everywhere up. Sorry, it's taking just a second here. Let me share my screen. I'm going to have to ask you a follow-up here, Arthur. So are you talking about this competition level right here where it says 0? Is that what you mean? Damn. Okay. And let me know. If so, without a competition less than 1. If so, it means you're using the tool wrong. So let me know there. Dennis says, I have a KGR term that said the local monthly searches was 90 and you get 50 per day. It took a month to get that amount of traffic. Yep. And that's what I see. And the thing is, like, I know the income school guys were beating me up about like the search volumes and how it's inaccurate. And basically, I agree with that. But yeah, like I've always said the long tail traffic like helps, and there are terms that bring traffic to your site that people are searching for that are just not on any search tools. So that's why it's fine to go after these very low search volumes. You will hit a home run every now and then. Okay. And okay. So Arthur says yes. Okay, here's the deal. Arthur, with keywords everywhere, the search volume is what we care about, right? The CPC is the cost per click for AdWords. We don't care about that. So I'm assuming that you're coming at it from an affiliate marketer's perspective. We don't care about that. It only matters if you're running ads, and I assume you're not. The competition, and by the way, I made the same mistake when I launched my first site. This is a throwback to the AdWords tool, but like if you've never used any of the tools that all the search tools are based on, then this won't make sense. The competition is the amount of advertisers competing for the keyword. So it's actually the opposite. And so don't even worry. Number one, Arthur, don't even worry about it. So competition and CPC, you don't need to worry about it unless you're running ads. The search volume is all you need to worry about. So just remember that CPC and competition level, those are for like the advertisers. Now, the thing you have to remember is like understand whatever tool you're using, understand how to use it. Because if you go to a tool like Longtail Pro and they have a keyword competitiveness value, which by the way is not accurate, it means something different. So if you use a tool like Longtail Pro, it'll tell you the CPC and it'll tell you the competition, and it'll also tell you the keyword competitiveness number. So the point is make sure you understand the values of the tools. And sometimes it's misleading because tools are made for like different, different audiences. It literally means the opposite. And like I said, don't feel bad, Arthur. I literally did the same thing when I first started using the Google or actually it was the it changed to the keyword planner, and it used to be, I don't even remember what it was called now, but yeah, so the keyword planner was out there and I found a keyword and it said competition low, and I thought, hey, that's a good thing, I'm going to go for it, and actually started a whole site around that. So Jeffrey says you missed part of it and so on. Is there a replay? Yep, there will be a replay. You'll get an email later on today. I think it takes a little while to render, and an email will be sent out with a link, and you could check it out at that point. Arthur says, so how do I know if I can go for a keyword with success or not? Well, it turns out you'll never know. You just got to do it. All right. No one can tell you for sure, but if you use the keyword golden ratio, you'll be in much better shape. And Arthur, be sure you do watch the playlist. There are some keywords you don't want to go for, and you should check, before you go out and start writing a bunch of content. You should check the competition to make sure it's like acceptable. So, and you just find the term, you Google it, you see what's there. If it's like all YouTube videos, probably not going to be able to crack it with a blog post, right? If it's all like government sites or organizations, again, you can see what Google likes. So Arthur, you'll never know. And this is, it's entrepreneurship and business, and you're making decisions with incomplete information constantly. That's the name of the game. So you won't know, but if you use the keyword golden ratio, you'll have a better idea. And if you're using the tools properly and like understand the values and why the values are there, then you'll be in good shape too. All right. What other questions do we have? I'll just, we have about 15 more minutes. I'll mention a couple things. One, I was in a bookstore. There's a huge bookstore in Portland called Powell, I think it's like Powell's Books or something like that. It's like a whole city block. It's like 4 levels, very famous place, just enormous. And they have a ton of used books. So I got this book that I heard about for a couple years, 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. So just getting into that. It's actually pretty thin, like pretty thin overall, but yeah, really, really good. And I got the old version. I heard to get the old version from 1993 versus like the reprinted one with updated examples and stuff. I'm not 100% sure why, but yeah, it actually, it's only like it's like 120 pages, but I think it's going to be awesome. Yeah. So anyone been to Powell Books, by the way? Anyone been over there? Pretty cool. And our hotel was just, well, it was probably like 15 blocks away, maybe farther, but it was a nice walk to get over there. Really cool store. I mean, I think you could probably spend like days there and find all sorts of cool books and stuff. All right. And actually the same guys wrote a book called Positioning. It's Ahrefs and Jack Trout, and they wrote Positioning as well. So I picked up a copy of that. And like I said, they have new books, but they also have used books. So, I was able to, pick up, books at a little cheaper price. Paul says, can you ask the price of the course? Yeah, sure. Paul, there are 3 packages. So it's between like 600 to 2,000. So the basic course gets you all the core elements, right? All the core units, and the sales page has a lot more information, Paul, by the way. So it gets you what you need to know to, find your niche, do the keyword research, launch your site, content. There's templates for, hiring writers, how to approach writers. There are a lot of like in-depth, over the shoulder demos and stuff. And then I go into like, more content, link building, and then like scaling your site. That's the basic package. There's an advanced package and a premium package. The only difference between those two is the premium package has 4 one-on-one coaching sessions. And what they have in the course is like 5 additional units. Those are advanced units. So it's on gray hat link building. There are interviews with successful niche site entrepreneurs. Actually, now that I've looked at the people that I interviewed and that are within the course, like they're doing super well here a couple of years later. So it's pretty cool now that I look to see how successful those folks were. Then I go over email list building for niche sites. I go over, other affiliate programs, and I go over selling a site for over 6 figures. Like I mentioned, I do have experience with that. So I go over the case study where I did that. So like I said, there's a range. It's definitely a premium course, high quality. I have good feedback. And if you see, the testimonials, or when you do see the testimonials on the sales page, I mean, you'll see, example after example of people who implemented the work or implemented the course, did the work, and then they are making money. And I think of, some people are actually in the course that are on this right now. So Paul, the sales page is very thorough, has tons of information, and hopefully we'll see on the inside. Lane says, any ideas or tips for getting clicks over to Amazon from informational posts? How do you make the readers curious enough to want to click? So basically, what brought them to that specific page. So I would probably put something like, check out product X. It'll make this process much easier. Get more details on Amazon or something like that. So probably something like that. Most of the time that'll be enough. I mean, people want to save time, and they want things to be easier. So if you can help them do that, that's a good way to do it. So I would basically leave it at that. All right. Lance says your connection cut out. Okay. Basically, you can just say, hey, check out this product on Amazon that will make, the process easier. I'm assuming it's some sort of how to, what keywords brought the person there. So you'll be able to, recommend or suggest products that are going to make it easier, faster, or whatever. So you can send them to that. That I would say just keep it simple. There's no magic way to do it. You have to have the right person like on the page. You have to have the right person that's interested. Like I said, the good part is like what keyword probably brought them there. All right. Any other questions? And a quick note, I know a lot of people are already on the YouTube side. They pay attention, and I recognize names, like I said. So I am doing the normal Q&A tomorrow. So feel free to, or actually, you can go to the YouTube channel, click the reminder. And if you haven't, if you missed the note, there's a contest associated with the playlist. It's only running until the end of day Friday, like midnight Mountain Time. And basically it's free to enter. All you have to do is like participate in the comments and follow along with the whole playlist. There are instructions for the contest and I think all of the videos. And basically all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, Alex, and then comment and like one video. Send proof that you've done all that. Like, I want to see you're subscribed to me, to Alex's channel, the comment and the like. So email that to me. There's instructions, so defer to those instructions with more details. And then any other comment that you leave, like, that's another entry. So the more participation that you have, in fact, just as a general, that's helpful, right? If you comment on the video, it helps other people find the video. Apparently, I'm told it's good for the algorithm on the YouTube side. So, and by the way, it's been pretty successful. Alex and I have seen increased watch time and just a lot of interaction in general on our channels. So that's really cool. I mean, we're trying to put something out good. And then, from a just YouTube channel perspective, see what happens when we do certain things. So cool. Any other questions out there right now? If not, we can finish up. And I know there's like a 30-second delay, so I will pause briefly to make sure I don't miss out. And thanks for your patience on the, technical difficulties early. All right. It looks like everybody's good to go. And I'm going to go take Georgie for a little walk. She's sleeping on her back, partially dreaming. It's pretty funny. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll catch you later. Have a great day.